Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business of Animation podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to helping budding animation entrepreneurs create financially sustainable businesses while also maintaining personally fulfilling creative careers. I almost forgot my intro. My name is Cabblow. I am your host. Welcome to a new year, and this is episode 5. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2021. Obviously, it's already been a month of the new year, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, it took a while for it to feel like a new year, just because, the pandemic is still going on, and, there's tragedy and sadness going on, even though we're wanting to start afresh. And obviously, it's always good to acknowledge the pain, but still have hope for the future. So that's why we continue on with the podcast, even if the pandemic is still carrying on. Because why? Because can't stop, won't stop. So for today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about something that is more on the practical business side of things. And it's really to answer a question that kept coming up as we were developing our short film 3 Teaspoons of Sugar here at Cabblow Studios. And it's really to answer the question, can a short film make money? And the short answer is yes. Thank you everyone for listening to today's episode. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to end the podcast there. But the short answer really is yes, a short film can make money. And the tricky part is then, how does it make money? And is it worthwhile? And how do you get yourself to a place where you found an audience that's willing to pay for your film? Because your film, at the end of the day, is a product that needs to be seen. And if you've made it for the purposes of earning some kind of profit from it, then it needs to be a film that makes money. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into my notes for today's episode. So I actually split my thoughts into 2 categories when I was thinking about how does a short film actually make money. And I split it into direct ways in which the short film actually makes money and indirect ways that a short film makes money. And I suppose how we could define it is the direct ways is somebody is practically either paying for the film to get made or buying they're either paying for the film to get made or they are buying the right to watch the film and or to show the film. And then the indirect ways is more like the money that you get that isn't an exact direct purchase of the film, but it is in some way linked back to the film, and that's why it's more indirect. So I'm just going to take you through my points, and then I guess I'll break them down. So one of the ways that our short film was able to make money was firstly through the actual financing of the film. So 3 Teaspoons of Sugar received grant financing for the actual production of the short film, as well as marketing and distribution financing. So if you've seen the short film, and by the way, it is on Vimeo on demand, where you can rent it or buy it to stream forever, or you can watch it on Kweli TV. That's where you can get a subscription on Kweli TV, and then you can watch it. So if you watch 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, in the end credits, we've got the names of the the organizations that sponsored the film, and they've got different categories according to the level of sponsorship that they gave. So one of the sponsors for the film, a South African government body called the Gauteng Film Commission, and they gave us funding for the production of the film, which means the salaries of all the animators working on the film were paid through the funding. Any kind of software or hardware that we needed to buy, any sort of subscription fees, licensing fees that we needed to get, any kind of copyright that we needed to handle because of music licensing, all of that was paid for with the production funding. And then the other funding that we got was actually to market the film. So to actually host the premiere of the film, to actually advertise, to enter the film into festivals where the festivals require entrance, like they have entrance fees. So that kind of thing as well also counts as marketing. So that's more on production fees. So that's where your short film can make money, where you get money for actually making the film. And other kinds of production fees that you can have is like what I said, grant funding, where it's money that you get that's essentially free money. You don't have to pay it back. Sponsorships and endorsements. So a company could, or a non-profit organization could then sponsor your film, and either sponsor, like for example with 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, we had a sponsorship from TV Paint where they sponsored some of the software for the film in giving us discounted prices. So they didn't actually give us money per se, but they sponsored in that way. So that's another way that you have sponsoring. There are people who take out loans to make their films. In South Africa, we have a bank called the Department of Trade and Industry, the DTI. They regularly give out loans for the creative industry. And then obviously you do get investors who are producers. So people who would give you money and will then want some kind of return on that money that they give you. With 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, we didn't have loans or investors. We had grant funding, and we had our own personal savings that we used to get the funding of the film. Just a note here, I personally don't really like the concept of borrowing money, and that's, I guess, also because I've from a Christian point of view, I'm not trying to owe nobody nothing. So if I can get money where I don't have to pay it back, or if I can save up because of the client work that we do, or whatever other cash that we have earned, I would rather take that route, because I just don't want to owe anybody anything ever in my life. Just as a side note. So another direct way that a short film can make money is through licensing fees. So somebody will approach you, or you've approached them, or however you've met, and they will say, we want to screen your film for this amount of time in these specific areas, and how much would that cost us? And so then we would then give those people the right to show the film in those particular places for that particular time for a specific fee. And how we've done that with 3 Teaspoons of Sugar is we've sold non-exclusive licenses to a pharmaceutical company, a multinational pharmaceutical company. We've sold a non-exclusive license to a university. And what those people then have done, they pay a lump sum for the time that they will then spend screening 3 Teaspoons of Sugar. And for each of those ones, it was non-exclusive, which means we could sell them a license and say, okay, you guys can have 3 Teaspoons of Sugar for 1 year, and you can screen it in these places within South Africa, but then we're also going to sell the license to somebody else who also wants to screen it in South Africa. So that's what it would mean to be non-exclusive. An exclusive license would be more like if somebody asks to have a license for a specific region and them be the only ones who have the right to distribute the film in that specific region of the world and in that specific period of time around the world. So you get exclusive and non-exclusive licenses, and you can license something out to somebody for a year, for 3 months, for more than a year, 7 years. There was a contract as well where we were talking to someone. They were talking about how they have like 7-year licensing fees. So licensing contracts. So that's also something that exists within the film world. Another thing that we've done to have to distribute our film and actually earn some income from it is screening fees. So maybe a festival will approach us and say, hi, we want to show your film at this festival over this period of time. This is how much we pay filmmakers to show their film at the festival. And so then we agree or we don't agree or we negotiate, whatever it might be, and then they pay you a screening fee for the duration of the festival, which means for that time, let's say the festival is a festival that's held in, I don't know, Scotland, and it's for 3 days, and it's online, but you can only access it if you're in Scotland, like if your IP address is in Scotland. Then we earn income from that screening, and maybe their festival's 3 days or something. Then we earn income from that screening. So that is a screening fee for 3 teaspoons of sugar. And we've actually had that happen last year towards the end of the year. We were part of a festival that was online, but it was like locked to that specific country. And then they then gave us a screening fee for having shown our film in their festival, which was actually a really pleasant surprise. Another way that a short film can earn money directly is if you actually sell the film directly to your audience. So we've done this in 2 ways. We sold tickets to the premiere of our short film in 2019 when human beings were still allowed to gather together. We sold tickets, and friends, family, colleagues, fans, because they were actually like generally people who I'd never met before in real life who were like, no, I saw you online, and so then I bought a ticket, and that was quite a surprising, heartwarming thing that like genuine strangers who I do not know in real life have come to see my film. This is amazing. So we sold tickets, and I think sometimes as I guess independent filmmakers or as people who are kind of going at this alone, you forget that you can do that. Like you can directly sell tickets to people who care about what you're making. And even in this year, in the year of 2020, and I foresee 2021 kind of being the same, in this year there obviously are a lot of virtual events happening, and I still think that there is room there to figure out how best to sell your short film in the form of a virtual event, you know. So that was one way that we earned money directly. We sold tickets, and we had like 150 people attend the premiere. So that was very exciting. And we had a Q&A there, and we also had nurses on site who were testing the sugar levels of the people who were attending, and then giving them some information about diabetes and all of that, because our short film was about diabetes. So it was like very interactive. We also had food, and we had a Q&A. It was really nice. So I would love to do something like that again. Another way that we're directly selling the film to our audience is by putting it online. So the film is on, I've mentioned it before, it's on Vimeo on demand, where you can buy the film to stream forever, or you can rent it. So that's one of the ways where you sell directly to your audience. And there are all kinds of platforms online where you can sell stuff digitally to your audience. And it's just about figuring out what makes sense for you and your film and the part of the world that you live in, and the fees or the profit share on the platforms that you use, you know, or do you just put it directly on your website and sell your film that way? And then the other way that your film can earn money directly is through royalties. So I also mentioned earlier in the podcast that the film is available on Quelly TV. Quelly TV is a streaming site, so think of Netflix, Amazon Prime, all of them. But Quelly TV focuses specifically on content created by Black filmmakers and Black people who are from Africa or the diaspora. And we put up that film on Quelly TV at the end of 2020, and we started getting royalties from that in that last quarter of 2020. So that was also a really pleasant surprise that the film is actually being viewed. And in the case of Quelly TV, we're earning according to watch time. So, like on YouTube, when YouTubers talk about growing and having engagement, and it's not just about how many views, but how long people stay watching your YouTube videos. So it's kind of the same with Quelly TV, is how long are people staying watching our short film, and then that equates to the income that we earn in the form of royalties. So those are the direct ways in which our short film at least has earned money, which is through the actual financing of the production. It's through selling licensing fees, and it's through earning royalties and then selling directly to our audience in the form of online sales or through an actual event with ticket sales. So now I want to talk about the indirect ways that our short film has been able to make money, and maybe that can also give you ideas for indirect ways in which you can earn income from your films. And the first indirect way is through merchandise. So at the actual premiere of 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, we had t-shirts, we had tote bags, we had cups, we had all kinds of merchandise, which is available on our online store right now. The link is in the description, and the online store is hellopretty.co.za/Cabblow Studios. And that's where you can get merchandise that is themed with 3 Teaspoons of Sugar artwork and messaging and that kind of thing. And on the actual day of the premiere, we sold a lot of t-shirts, tote bags. We had transparent cups that had like a lettering on them about sugar and healthy living and healthy eating. So we sold those, and we earned some profit actually from selling merchandise. The other way that 3 Teaspoons has been able to bring income into Cabblow Studios indirectly is it's actually helped us to get new clients. And for this, it's more qualitative than quantitative. But what has happened is that when we tell people about 3 Teaspoons of Sugar and the festivals that it's gotten into, Annecy and all these other festivals, I brought up Annecy because it's the biggest one. But when we bring that up, it helps to legitimize what we do, and shows that we are like it has, because we finished the product, we finished the short film, we proved that we can do this, and it's getting attention internationally. It just gives the studio more credibility, so that when a client decides to work with us, we've got evidence of work that we've done before, and then it just gives them confidence that we're going to be able to do right by them and make a really good animation for them. Because that's what I observed last year when we got a client who we had spoken to like a year before, and then they finally came around and said, hi, this is how we want to work with you. I really do believe it's because we shared 3 Teaspoons with them and the success of it, and I think it really helped to give us credibility. So that's more of an indirect way in which the short film helped to make money for us. So one other way that a short film can make money, this is more like directly actually, now that I think about it, but it's to win prize money at these festivals and competitions. For us, we've been nominated. We were a finalist, there we go, in the Dragon Awards for the China International Conference for science and education producers. So it was like a festival for people who make scientific films. And we fit into like a medical category. So we didn't win a prize money there, but we did win a nomination. And then the prize that we actually did win was in 2019. We won a competition called the Gauteng Accelerator Program. And that wasn't just for 3 teaspoons only. It was for our overall business model in creating a business that has a focus on medical animation. And this whole competition was about innovating within different sectors within South African economy. And we were in like their medical category, and we won the medical category because we used animation to educate the public about different diseases or devices or whatever it might be. And so we won that competition, and with it came with prize money, which helped to sustain the business and have cash flow for us to be able to pay salaries, etc. So I wouldn't say that was directly 3 teaspoons only. That was more for medical animation in general, but I can include that because 3 teaspoons is a medical film, so I guess I can include it in that way. But it's to say the competitions that you enter, the festivals that you enter, if they are the type that have winnings, prize money, then that's also another way that your short film can then earn money because you won a cash prize for it. Yeah. Oh, yes. I wanted to send a shout out to a mentor and friend of mine. Her name is Comfort Arthur. She's the director of a short film called Black Barbie and a series called I'm Stuck in Ghana, Get Me Out of Here. I think that's how the name goes. But anyway, she adapted her short film Black Barbie, and it's all about skin bleaching. She adapted it into a children's book, which she's now promoting. And obviously, she didn't ask me to advertise this, but I just thought I would bring that in to say, even your short film, you can adapt it. Because a lot of the time when we watch Disney films and we watch these DreamWorks productions, Disney will make The Little Mermaid, the feature film. They'll make the subsequent sequels, and then they'll make The Little Mermaid TV show, which is an adaptation. Or they'll do Frozen. They'll do Frozen, the movie, Frozen 2. They'll do the Frozen short films. And then they'll even go as far as doing Frozen children's books on top of every other Frozen themed merchandise. Like I think I once saw a Frozen Band-Aid and obviously Frozen lunchboxes and all of that. But it's to say even your short film can be adapted beyond the experience of watching the film as a film. You can take that story and adapt it elsewhere. And so I just thinking broadly, think about those ways in which you can milk your IP, because that's what it is. That's what your short film is, an expression of your intellectual property. And if you have been smart enough to retain ownership of that, you can do whatever you want with it. You can turn it into something else. You can repurpose it. You can make sequels, and that sort of thing. Yeah, so today's episode was a quick one. I just wanted to run through those thoughts because I just thought it's a good idea to just answer that question plainly and simply. And for anyone who is thinking about whether their short film is going to be worthwhile in terms of like the financial gain from it, it is possible to sell your short film. I think for us at Cabblow Studios, because our niche is medical animation, we've kind of found a space that is interested in our content. And of course, because now we're living in a COVID-19 world, which nobody anticipated, it means something different to have animated medical content that's educational. So for you, it's just about figuring out who wants to buy your short film, because there are people who are interested in the kind of stories, content that you're creating, that you're selling, and it's just about finding those humans and selling it to them in a way that is easy for them to buy, like it's easy for them to pay for it, and it's where they would want to actually watch it, So that's also what we're learning and figuring out, is where do people want to watch our short films? Where do people watch short films? How do they pay for them? How can we make it so that we can facilitate that experience and make it even better moving forward, so that it's not hard to find our films and buy them and watch them and pay for them, and it's a learning experience. So again, if you want to watch 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, it's on Vimeo on demand. All the links are where links go in podcasts, and it's also on Kweli TV, and soon it will be in other places, which I will announce in future episodes. Thank you so much for listening, and look out for the next episode, which I'm so excited to share with you guys, because I got to interview a background designer and illustrator based in the US, in Los Angeles. She works for Warner Brothers Animation, and I am just very excited for you guys to hear that. It'll be the first interview on the podcast, and we are growing onward, upward, forwards, infinity and beyond. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear her story and to listen to our conversation. But until then, I am wishing you all the best. Make sure you keep wearing your mask, stay safe, and have a happy day wherever you are in the world. Bye.